तू चलता चल तू चलता चल तू चलता चल.
Good morning to everyone. Good morning, sir. We have with us Ritu Rani today. Okay, Ritu Rani, which attempt this was and which particular entry, which board?
Ma'am, it was my first attempt and I appeared for CDS entry for the SSC Women Non-Technical 30-second course
Okay.
at Bangalore board.
First attempt, so no prior experience. That's great. So please tell us about this particular attempt. First of all, let us know how preparation part of it. Did you specifically prepare for this, or it was just naturally?
Ma'am, I gave CDS 2022. It was my first attempt, and after 1 month, we got the results that yes, I have qualified the examination. So thereafter, I was quite curious to know about the SSB procedure because it was my first attempt. So I got through various YouTube videos and I contacted with a lot of people. So there were many people who suggested me that it is an online era. So do not go for any offline coaching. Just go on the internet, search the videos. Means prepare on internet only. Don't go for any offline coaching. Don't spend your 14 days somewhere. And also, I was not ready to go for any offline coaching since I am not graduated yet. I'm in the last semester. I am appearing for my examinations. So then I decided that yes, I'm going to go just prepare on online, on internet only. So on internet, I searched a lot of videos. There comes a sir's video where he told that you do not require any extra effort to be selected in the SSB. Just improve your personality. So that was just a relief for me, and I prepared accordingly. I prepared myself. I developed my personality, and here I am today.
Okay, that's great. So please tell us about this particular attempt, starting with screening process, and then one by one psychology, GTO interview.
So, ma'am, our reporting was on 1st of May at 6 in the morning. We reported at the Selection Center South, Bangalore. Thereafter, we did some documentation, and at 8 in the morning, our stage 1 started. So, before the starting of the stage 1, they clearly gave us the instructions, and I was very clear what they told me. I did accordingly. So, the first thing was OIR test. So in first set of OIR, there were 40 questions and more or less 10 minutes were given to us. So I have already prepared the OIR test. So it was quite easy questions and also the time was sufficient. In 10 minutes, I was able to complete all the 40 questions. Even I checked it twice. And thereafter, the bell rang and they took our answer sheet and thereafter gave us the second set of OIR. Again, there were 40 questions. Again, more or less 10 minutes were given to us. So again, I completed those questions in 10 minutes and checked it twice. So after the completion of OIR test, I was quite confident that it went very well. Thereafter, a picture was shown to us. It was quite simple picture, black and white. Two people were visible. One boy was clearly visible. The other person was not visible. So they gave us the instructions. I followed the instructions and I wrote the story. Very simple story. It was just 6 to 7 lines story. So the first line was about the introduction, who was the main character and all that. Thereafter the action, and the last line was about the conclusion. So that was my simple story. I did not include any schemes or new programs. Many students have included Gati Shakti and all those things. I made very simple story regarding a college student, and that was it. Thereafter, we waited for more or less 1.5 hours, and thereafter our group narration and discussion started. So in the group discussion, I was chess number 2. After one, I narrated my story very confidently, very loudly, so that 15 of us could hear that. So I was quite confident. I narrated it within the time. As soon as the group discussion started, we were divided into two groups as there were 15 candidates in one group. So they divided the group into two. So we were eight in our group and the group discussion started. So in my mind, I had the thought that even if I have 1 or 2 points, but they should be logical and they should be heard in the group discussion. So I was focusing to find the better gap and then stating my points so that they are heard loudly in the group and they are taken. So I did the same. I spoke 2 times. I believe my points were very logical and they were heard and also they were taken in the group discussion and the story was made only on that only. So again, I was quite satisfied. After having our lunch, our screening stage one results were declared. Before the results, I was quite confident that they are going to announce chess number two definitely because my OIR went well, my narration went well, everything went well, and I was satisfied. The main thing that there was a sense of contentment inside me. So I was sure that they are going to announce chess number two. So they announced chess number two, and I was very happy. So after that, our documentation, we filled the PIQ forms. It took a lot of time because we had to fill it very carefully. So we got free at 7. Thereafter, we had our dinner. And at 8, I slept because I was completely tired, mentally exhausted. So I slept at 8. On the next day, our psychology test was scheduled. So we had to report at 6:15 in the morning. I got ready. I had my breakfast and I reported at the point where they told us to report exactly at 6:15. So again at 7, our psychology test started with the TAT. So in the TAT, quite simple pictures were shown to us. They were black and white, and the characters were visible. They were quite visible. Even their expressions were clear to us that yeah, they are showing anger or they are happy or any other type of emotion. So from first to 12th story, I made quite simple story, and I was able to complete each and every story within 2 minutes. And after the 2 minutes, although 4 minutes were given to us, I completed each story in 2 minutes, making very short and crisp stories. And after the 2 minutes, I was just looking at the other girls, and they were still writing and writing. They were not able to complete their story within 4 minutes even. They were filling the sheets, and my sheet was like empty, just 6 lines. And I was just looking at them, but they are writing. So this was in TET. Thereafter, the VET, again, simple words were shown to us. I am used to reading books, so the words were, I could make the sentences very easily. Even there was a word happy, and some days before, I was reading a sir's book, and there was a word, there was a sentence on happy. Being happy is a choice you can make freely. So after looking at that word happy, I made a same sentence. Being happy is a choice you can make freely. So this was all about that because I was used to reading, so it was not difficult for me to make the sentences on the words that were shown to us. And also, I was able to attempt all the 60 words. Thereafter, they gave us 30 minutes for the SRTs. And again, before attempting the SRTs, there was one thought in my mind that I will focus on the quality. The answer of a situation is itself in the situation. So there was thought that I will read the situation very carefully and then will frame my answer or then will write my answer. So I was able to complete 40 SRTs, and in one of the interactions with Mohit, he mentioned that he focused on quality. So I followed the same thing. I focused on quality. Thereafter, description, 15 minutes were given to us. And I have already prepared the self description after reading Sir's book, The Practical Guide to Become an Officer. I have already prepared that. I wrote that within 15 minutes. So that was all about the psychology test. As I was chess number two, so on the same day, our interview was scheduled. After chess number one, I was called in, and my interview went for more or less 45 minutes. And before the interview, I was not at all nervous. I was quite confident, and I told them what they asked me very honestly. So the interview was more focused on the PIQ form only. They were more focused on my educational qualifications, my past, how I came here, why only army. After every question, they were asking why only armed forces, why not something else. So I was very strict. Means I stick to my answer that this is the reason that why I want to join forces. So again, he asked me about my future plans, my higher studies. I am a student of chemistry, zoology, and botany, but I really want to do my higher studies in English. So again, the whole interview revolved around why English? Why not chemistry, zoology, botany? You are getting good marks in these three subjects. Why English? So I had a perfect answer because I know why I want to do English. So that was not difficult for me. Then he was focused on my family since most of the members are there in foreign countries. So again, he was like, "Why you do not want to go to a foreign country? Why armed forces?" Again, after every question, "Why armed forces? Why armed forces?" So I was very cool and composed, and I was telling him the same answer. So this is the reason. So again, after that, he focused on my background since I prepared for women military police first, so he asked me various questions about CMP, what is the full form of CMP, and since its training is in Bangalore itself, so most of the questions were related to CMP, women military police, corps of military police. Even he asked me if you had been selected at Ambala recruitment rally, so what would you have selected? I told him that sir, if I had been selected there, I would have joined VMP because that is the reason I got rejected there, and that is the reason I prepared for CDS and I came here. So he was like, okay. Then he came to the international issues. He asked me to tell me one incident, one international issue about which you are very confident. I told him, sir, I am very confident about Sudan tragedy, what is going in the Sudan. कहता, okay, Ritu, just tell me something about Israel. So he asked me about what topic I am confident, and then he took me to another topic about Israel. So I'm used to reading newspaper. I was updated. So I told him that this is happening in Israel. So this is the present condition. There were certain other questions related to the current affairs. Thereafter, he asked me about the closest friend, my brothers, sisters, my family, my father, because he's a farmer. There is no one in our family who is in the army. I am the one who is taking this step. So all the questions were related to this. So I was very cool, very composed, giving the answers very honestly. What was in my heart, I told him without having a thought that will this answer impress him or not. I was just very frank. I told him. Even he gave me certain conditions as well, and I told him the answers of those conditions very frankly. So it was all about my interview. It was for 45 minutes, and I was very happy after the interview. Even though I was not able to answer certain questions, but yeah, I did not know that those questions, so I could not answer those questions. But yeah, I was confident. I was very satisfied again. Thereafter, on the second day of stage two, GTO task was arranged, and it started with group discussion, two group discussions. Again, there was one thought in my mind that I will I will give logical points, even if they are two or one or two. I'll give them, and I'll find the better gaps, and I'll state, and in such a way that they are heard by all the members of the group. So the GTO gave us the clear instructions. I heard those instructions, I followed that and performed accordingly. Thereafter, our GPE was arranged. In GPE, in the common group planning, uh, some silly solutions were given. They were literally silly. So when the GTO asked us, do you all agree with this? I told him, sir, there was one solution which I was not agree with. So I told him, sir, this is not an efficient solution for this problem. This should not be done. Something this even I gave the solution, alternative solution that this should be done. So after the GPE, we were taken to the ground for progressive group task, and in between the girls were like, "अरे भाई तूने तो problem कर दिया, ऐसा नहीं करना होता, negative point है ये, ऐसे disagree नहीं करते." So I was again maintaining my neutral emotions. My expressions were quite neutral, and I was like, okay, you are right. I am wrong. Sorry, I'll not do this again. So thereafter, I progressive group task started, and in the progressive group task, the group was there were 10 members in our group, and it was such a chaotic group, very chaotic group, and there were simple structures. They could be done very simply, but they were making them complex. We were at the back, we were giving us, there were some certain candidates who were ahead, and they were just doing hit and trial. I was telling them that they are very simple structure, direct bridging can be done, but they were making it complex. So again, I was like, as Shreya mentioned, that have one thought that GTO is observing you. So I had that same point in my mind that GTO is observing me. I told them that this is a very simple structure, bridging can be done, but even if they are not doing that, that is their problem. That is not my problem. So again, progressive group task went very well, and after that, half group task was arranged. Again, it was very chaotic. The other candidates were not ready to listen to us. So I was like I was giving my points. It is their problem if they are not listening to me. I was giving, assertively giving. Thereafter, uh, it was all about our day 3. On day 4, our GTO task was arranged. Uh, Day 2. So it all started with the lecturate. It was raining heavily in Bangalore. So they started, instead of starting with the individual obstacle, they started with lecturate. So I will thank Kunal, who was in NFA 18. He was such a guy who used to arrange his content in a very organized way. So I remember it vividly that in one of the group activities, the same topic was given to him, and he organized his content in such a way it was very attractive. So when I was given with my card, there was the first topic, India's relation with its neighboring countries. The first the first picture came in my mind was Kunal's lecture. So I organized my content in that way. I went there. I was very calm and composed. 3 minutes were enough for me. I was speaking, giving poses at the specific points, and it went very well. I was again very satisfied with that. Next was individual obstacle. It was as it was raining, so the structures were quite slippery. So they told us that instead of doing 10 obstacles, you have to do 8 obstacles. So on the I did not went for the numbers. What came in my way, I attempted that. Means I attempted the obstacles in a series wise. So on the sixth obstacle, which was a swing, got my ankle twisted. So there was a very sharp pain in my ankle. Even then, I attempted the seventh one and the eighth one, which was my last one. On the eighth one, that was the box jump, double jump. From a second box, I just fell down on the sand. It was very, means I fell suddenly. It was blank. I was just out of mind what had happened to me, and it was all black. I fainted literally. And 5 seconds were there, so I told him that I am done because I could not think what to do next. It was just all black. After the completion of individual obstacle, I was literally crying because what happened to me in the individual obstacle was completely unimaginable. So I was literally crying in the bathroom, and thereafter I thought that the next task is a command task, and that is completely mine. I have to perform there. If I got my morale down here in because of the things that happened in individual obstacle, I would not be able to perform better in the command task, which is completely mine. So there was a story mentioned in the book where a girl called sir after her GTO task and she was crying. So sir had told her to calm down and to perform better in the next task, because it is all about the overall performance, not your performance in one task. The same thought I had in my mind, that you have to calm down and perform better in command task. So in the command task, task of bomb defuse was given to me. It was a round structure. The end and the starting line was the same. Three structures were there. I have to defuse the bomb. So he gave me 5 minutes, that you have 5 minutes. This is your task. So I did not just fall upon upon the obstacles directly. As soon as he said, "Now your time starts now," I took 30 seconds to analyze each structure. I was analyzing the structures, and in the first go, I made the structures to go to that place where the bomb was there. So after that, the GTO told me that suppose the structure is not there, what will you do? I went to the next structure. Again, I took 30 seconds, analyzed the structure, and in the first go, I made its solution. Again, he told me, suppose this is not here. I went to the last structure, again analyzed it, and made the solution in one go only. So that there was one point in my mind that I will not do hit and try. I'll not directly just go on the obstacle. I will first observe the obstacle deliberately, and thereafter will make a solution of that. So it was all about the command task, and I was quite satisfied again. Afterwards, our that final group task was arranged. It went very well. I was giving the solutions. Uh, Everything went very well about the GTO task. Again, I was quite satisfied. Even though what happened in the individual obstacle, I forget that because of my good performance in the command task. So again, I did not had any exposure of these ground tasks before, because but sir has mentioned in my first interaction that if you have the again practical sense, you will be able to complete all the tasks. So that thought was there in my mind that yes, I am engaged in all the activities that are arranged at our place, at our home. So I'll definitely do them. And also, just to get knowledge of the structures, I used to see the PDFs that Maninder, our group coordinator, has sent in the NFA 18 group. So I used to see those PDFs just to get a knowledge of the structures, how those structures are attempted, what are the color rules, rigidity rule, and all that. Otherwise, I did not have any exposure of the ground task. So I was nervous, but again, sir has mentioned that being nervous is not a problem. Being overconfident can be a problem. So that thought was in my mind, that nervousness is okay. So before GTO task, I was quite nervous, but after GTO task, I was just satisfied and happy. So on the fifth day, that is 5th of May, our conference was arranged. After chess number one, I was called in. My conference literally went for 30 seconds only. I wished them. They told me to sit. I sat down. They asked me how was the stay, what did you have in the breakfast, and what was the memorable moment of these 4 or 5 days. So, and then they told me, Ritu, you can go now. Again, in the conference, the president was smiling. There was a smile on his face, and there was a smile on my face as well. I was not at all nervous in the conference. So it went very well. Again, after having our lunch, our results were announced. Uh, Again, I was quite confident that I do not know whether they will call chess number one or not. But I was satisfied, I was confident that they will definitely say chess number two. So the first chess number was chess number two. So I got my luggage, went there, told them my name, my date of birth. And again, I was like, yeah, you were satisfied, and this is the result. So this was all about the 5 days. Thereafter, our medicals started, and it ended on 13th of May.
That's great. You mentioned about the practical guidebook to become an officer, and also the group tasks and group activities that are carried on in NFA. So please tell us how interactions with Colonel Nehru helped you in your recommendation.
So, ma'am, in January, we had our examinations of college. As soon as they ended, on 1st of February 2023, uh, I got enrolled in NFA, and my reporting was on 1st of May. So I had 3 months with me. So on 2nd February, I had interaction with sir in the morning, and he asked me the same questions what the interviewing officer asked me. So that was all related to my family, educational qualifications, and all that. So sir told me that in his feedback, he told me that you have to focus on your general awareness, your physical fitness. You should have an organized life, because somewhere I could not manage all the things all together: running, exercising, going to college, managing the studies, and then preparing for this SSB or CDS. I could not manage all the things all together. So he told me that you have to be disciplined, you have to be organized, and have to be very confident. These are the 3 or 4 things that you have to focus on, और तेरी बात बन जाएगी. So when on 5th of May our results were declared, after that, I called sir and I told him, sir, baat ban gayi. So all was that.
Okay. Now with that note, I will give it to Nehru sir.
Good morning, sir. Yes, sir, you are audible.
गुड गुड गुड. तो ऋतु कुछ बातें बताइए. सबसे पहले तो ये बताओ
Yes,
कि
sir.
ये ऑनलाइन का जो है, आपको काफी लोगों ने बोला, बट जनरली आई हैव नोटिस्ड दैट इन द हरियाणा बेल्ट, वेस्टर्न यूपी हरियाणा, जो है ऑनलाइन पॉपुलर नहीं है. दे प्रेफर ऑफलाइन.
Yes,
ऐसा नहीं
sir.
है?
Yes, sir. Even, sir, after first interaction, you told me that you are the only girl from Haryana. There is no one in NFA who is from Haryana. So definitely, sir, there is a craze that people are going to Chandigarh. They are joining the offline academies. But yes, it was
हाँ
a
नहीं,
good
इस बात
decision
मेरे
of
पास
mine.
पहले थी. आई हैव हैड गर्ल्स फ्रॉम हरियाणा, बट कम आते हैं. जनरली दे ऑफलाइन इज मोर पॉपुलर. अच्छा, एनीवे, अब नेक्स्ट बात ये बताओ, जब आप एसएसबी में पहुंचे तो वहां पर जो है बातचीत बहुत चलती है. मतलब मोर टाइम इज स्पेंट ऑफ द असेसमेंट रादर देन असेसमेंट टाइम. तो
Yes,
बातचीतों
sir.
में उसमें क्या चल रहा था कि यार कौन सा मामला ज्यादा पॉपुलर है? ये कोचिंग पॉपुलर है कि पॉपुलर है? कहाँ पे क्या शिक्षा चल रही है? व्हाट वर द
Yes,
थॉट्स एंड उससे क्या क्या इन्फ्लुएंस हुआ आपके ऊपर?
yes, sir. There were a number of students from sir. I was quite famous among the students. So, sir, on the screening day, chess number 1 was quite anxious. She had a list of do's and don'ts. Literally, she has a list. And she was like, "Yeah, I do not want to sit at the corner in the group narration. The assessors will not be attracted towards me." And I was just looking at her face and thinking what she is talking about. If you are giving logical points and you are confident enough, loud enough, the assessors will definitely be attracted towards you. There is no point whether you are sitting at the corner or in the center. I literally told her, एंड शी वाज लाइक, नहीं, मेरे एक रिलेटिव है, उन्होंने मुझे बताया था सेंटर में बैठना चाहिए. सो आई वाज लाइक, जस्ट चेंज योर चेस्ट नंबर, देन इट इज पॉसिबल. एंड आफ्टर दैट, after the psychology test, they were discussing, means they were not, the students have themselves become the assessors. They have become assessors after the GTO task. They were like, why did you do this? You should have done this in this way. You should do this, you should do that. And after the conference, my conference was about 30 seconds. They were like, तेरा नहीं होगा यार, मुझे लग नहीं रहा तेरा होगा. कि 30 seconds. I was like, okay, they are the assessors, let them do their work, you are not the assessors. So a lot of things, sir. Even before the interview, their girls have prepared registers that if the assessor, interviewing officer asks me this question, I will answer this in this way. They have literally made the 3 points that if this is being asked to me, I'll tell these 3 points and I'll impress the interviewing officer. And before the lecturate, before a day before the GTO, I went to certain girls and they were preparing for lecture. They have written the topics, they have written the contents in the notebook, and they were revising those contents. But I personally, myself, I have never prepared any lecture topic. I was focused on reading newspaper, and I was confident that even if any topic is given to me, I will definitely make a good content on it, because I was updated with the current affairs. But they have arranged the lecture topics. They were revising before the GTO task. They were revising those questions of interview before their interview. And girls were like, when the girls were coming after their interview, what was asked to you? They were literally writing, this was asked to you, okay, what is this? What is that? They were like, all around there was a lot of anxiousness, curiosity, unnecessary curiosity.
तो आप उससे इन्फ्लुएंस नहीं हुए इस बातचीतों से?
No, sir. After screening a result, I called you, sir. You told me, बहुत बातें होगी, अपने NFA के values को याद रखना. I was like, इनको कहने दो, मैं उनके neutral. I was just maintaining my face expressions, keeping those expressions neutral, and I was just listening to them. I was not getting affected because of them.
और वैष्णवी आपके ग्रुप में थी, दूसरे ग्रुप में थी?
Sir, I was fresher. She was a repeater. She was,
okay.
yeah, but sir, before my interview, I had an interaction with her. She told me that be mindful. These were her words. Be mindful. She did not tell me anything else. She did not give me unnecessary suggestions. She told me that to be mindful. That is it.
अच्छा, एक बात और आई होगी, उन्होंने कहा होगा कि भाई हमसे आए हैं और वहां तो हमने जीटीओ के स्पेशलिस्ट हैं, बिल्कुल हमने ये सारी चीजें की हुई हैं, तो तुम्हारा कैसे मैनेज होगा? डिड यू नॉट फील समवॉट इनहिबिटेड कि यार मैंने तो खाली मानिंदर नहीं जो पीडीएफ वगैरह दिया है और बुक में थोड़ा बहुत देखा है, प्रैक्टिस तो किया नहीं है इन चीजों का, तो कैसे बात बनेगी?
Again, sir, you have mentioned that if you have practical sense, you'll do anything. So that thought was in my mind that yes, I am engaged everywhere in every household activity. I'll definitely do those things. Sir, the students who were ahead in the progressive group task, final group task, they were from AFPA only. And what they were doing was hit and trial. That is it. If you have practical sense, you will analyze the structures first and you will make a solution in first go only. But they were attempting it 10 times. In the 10th time, they got a solution. But that was by chance. That was not because of their mind. That was hit and trial solution. In every task, they were the students of in our group, there were 3 or 4 students of, we were 10 candidates, and they were ahead in every task. They were doing hit and trial. That is it.
मेरे को एक में किसी ने लिखा था कि 1,000 times better than No Frills Academy. So what is your view?
I do not know about their mentality, but I feel that I am lucky that in my first attempt, I got to know about NFA. I joined NFA. I attended all the activities. And this is the only reason why I got recommended. Because I was good at English from the very starting, but I had words, but I did not know how to use those words to make an effective sentence. After attending the group activities, in the initial days, the students who were there in the activities, they know me that I was not at all confident. I was not good at making the sentences. I was getting stuck in between. But in 2 months, I improved a lot. I started getting good suggestions that Ritu, you are improving. So I give the whole credit, of course, to myself and NFA. So I do not know whether APA is good or not, but by looking at the students of theirs, they were just doing hit and try. That is it.
अच्छा, एक बात बताओ, ये जब पीजीटी स्टार्ट हुआ तो शुरू से ही बात समझ में आनी शुरू हुई या थोड़ा टाइम लगा, 15-20 मिनट के बाद थोड़ा बहुत सिस्टम समझ में आना शुरू हुआ कि कैसे कैंटिलीवर बन रहा है?
No, sir. The GTO was giving us very clear instructions that you can do this task in this way. You can make a cantilever all means he gave us very clear instructions. So yeah, it was difficult to get along with those structures in the first two obstacles, but thereafter on the third obstacle, I was just quite familiar with those, and I was giving good solutions to those structures as well. So it was not difficult, and the performance to the command task it improved very much, and I did very well in the command task.
तो आपका प्रोग्रेशन हुआ पीजीटी टू एचजीटी टू कमांड टास्क, इज दैट करेक्ट?
Yes, sir.
तो आपके ग्रुप में क्या डायनेमिक्स ग्रुप की कुछ चेंज हुई थी जब तक आप पीजीटी 1 से लेके एफजीटी तक पहुंचे? जो लोग मतलब सजेशन दे रहे थे, जिनके आइडिया चल रहे थे, हैड द पीपल चेंज्ड और दे रिमेन्ड द सेम राइट फ्रॉम पीजीटी 1 टू एफजीटी?
Sir, they remained same. From PGT to FGT to final group task, they were ahead and they were doing the hit and trial. They have not changed themselves.
तो
We were giving
उन्होंने
solutions.
आगे आने नहीं दिया किसी को?
No, sir. Literally, the GTO was telling us that if you want to exchange your positions, you can exchange it. But they were like, no, we are going to do this. They were literally like this. They did not allow us to come forward and to apply the solutions that we had. They were like, no, we are going to do it. And they were doing nothing. They were just wasting the time.
तो वो रेकमेंड हुए नहीं हुए?
Sir, two girl got recommended.
अच्छा, ओके.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine.
And also, sir, in the interview, they have arranged means who is the commander of Southern Command and all those things. They have written those questions in their notebook. After listening to them, I was getting nervous because I have not prepared at all. I do not know where is this Northern Command, Southern Command. I literally do not know what are the services and infantry, all those things. I was like, I have not prepared. If the interviewing officer asked me, what would I do? So I would nervous. Those questions were making me nervous, but again, I was keeping myself very calm.
Okay, good, very nice. तो आपने भरोसा रखा अपने ऊपर, जो हमने आपको बातें बताई उन पे भी भरोसा रखा, एंड यू बीन अ वेरी सिंसियर स्टूडेंट ऑल योर करियर राइट फ्रॉम चाइल्डहुड, so you have maintained that. तो आपकी परफॉर्मेंस अच्छी रही. In fact, you have come, probably students may not be aware that you came from a very different line of academic line.
Yes, sir.
And so please tell us about little bit about that. Okay, how you were taking which line and then you shifted to this line and you come to SSB now.
So, sir, in my senior secondary, I had chemistry, physics, and biology. And two of my elder brothers are doctors. So I took those subjects in the heat of the moment that yes, I will also become doctor. So after the completion of my class 12, I started preparing for NEET. I took a drop. I started doing self-study. My sitting hours increased and I gained a lot of weight. So one day, my brother who's in London, he told me that, Ritu, you are overweight. You should focus on your health. So thereafter, I started running in the field early in the morning with two other girls. And within 1 month, I lost a lot of weight. People were telling me, Ritu, patli ho gayi ab to tu. So I enjoyed that process. I never started running for the sake of losing my weight. I was just enjoying the process. In August 2020, the application forms of women military police were out. That was the second recruitment rally. Before that, the girls were not allowed in CMP. So I filled that form. In January, on 15th of January 2021, I went to Ambala recruitment rally, where I just fainted before 100 meters before the completion of 1600-meter run. In the recruitment rally, there is a run of 1600 meter. There is a rasta at the completion. I could not cross that rasta. I was completely disheartened. I did not cry at all. My mother cried because she had seen me in that condition. I prepared a lot. I used to run a lot. I used to train my body a lot. She had prepared my meals. She know how hard I worked, she literally cried. I did not cry. But on the day when I got recommended, I cried. I called my parents. I was not able to tell them that I got recommended. I was crying and crying. My parents thought that नहीं हुआ होगा. My uncle was like कुछ नहीं होता बेटा, अगली बार हो जाएगा. मैंने उनको कहा हो गया है. So I was literally crying because I have maintained those tears for this day only. After when I was coming from Ambala, I had my I had this thought in my mind, join करनी है तो army ही जाना है. अब यहाँ तक आ गई हूँ. I have enjoyed the process. I have come this long. I will not go back and do something else. So coming from NEET to army, it was quite difficult. It is a very long journey from 2020 to 2023. It has been 3 years. I did not cry at all. I just continued working hard. But on 5th of May, I literally cried.
Ritu, it would be, appropriate for me to acknowledge that through you and girls and boys like you, I get involved in your families, in your life totally. When I speak to you, I visualize what is going on in your
Sir,
families.
can
Like,
you adjust your the laptop camera so that we can see your face? थोड़ा सा नीचे जा रहा है. So your
मेरा नहीं आ रहा?
interaction नहीं, हाँ, आपका interaction important है. हाँ. Okay, sir.
अभी हुआ better?
हाँ, अभी better हो गया.
Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Acha. So what I was saying, Ritu, that I get involved in your families and total I create the image कि आपकी जिंदगी कैसे चल रही है और कैसे कैसे आपके challenges हैं, and to some extent I also share those challenges with you, and then when we chalk out a plan, and when you boys and girls work sincerely in accordance with the plan and you get success, and I'm able to grasp the kind of motivation, effort you people put in to get success. It's a lot of education for me. All of you wisen me a lot. So thanks a lot, Ritu, for joining No Frills Academy, and you did not get motivated to join some other place. So we benefited, and of course you also got success here. I have nothing more to ask. So boys and girls, please, you are free. Go ahead and ask your questions to Ritu.